Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. And I got to tell you, these reports are just what I say they are. They're reports of what other people might tell me or talk about their fishing experiences. And so I try to pass them on to you. And one of the things is I try to talk about Black Lake because Black Lake is a real gem that we have. And Jigger Jim is one of my contacts because he's talking with fishermen that come into the log cabins every day of the week. And those days that he isn't talking in there, he's talking out in the water in his boat to the bass that he's trying to catch, or the walleyes or the crappies or whatever. And I said, Jim, tell me how the fishing's been there lately. And he says, well, I told you a week ago, the bass fishing has been fantastic in Black Lake this year. And he says, you can't believe it. He says, I'll get numbers of people that come into the store and say they can't catch a thing because of the algae blooms. He says, well, we do have algae blooms, and we don't want to minimize their significance. That's me talking now, because they do represent a danger to pets, and they are a sense of poisoning in the water, but I don't think they affect the fish's health at all. And what happens is, Jim says, because of the blooms, people can't see what they're doing. They can't see in the water. And that's one of the key things of any fisherman. You're always trying to read the water. You're trying to look and find where there's going to be structures that the fish might be near. And Jim says with the algae, they can't see the stumps or the weed beds or the rocks or whatever it is they're looking for. So they don't know where to fish, and they don't catch fish if they're not fishing around these places. He says the other things is, with all the electronics and scopes and graphs and screens that people have today, that's letting them use these graphs to look in the water and see. It's the same thing. You can't fish blindly. You need to be able to see what you're doing, and that's what they enable them to do. And he says that the bass fishing has still been great, and people just need to try to avoid those algae blooms, or if they're in them, knowing that that's good water, persist and try to see where you're casting. If you got to use your graphs, and use those, but look to see what's in the water. It's about reading the water. And remember, Black Lake is one of the best bodies of water we have in northern New York. It always has been. It's a fishing factory of 25 miles, and probably of those 25 miles, 20-some of those miles are fishing waters. There's fish everywhere in that lake. So don't underestimate what you can do in Black Lake. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.